but I am encouraged by kind of what has happened and where we're at, and now we need to continue, obviously, to move forward against a team this week that is just tremendously talented in LSU. And, they're big, they're powerful, they're physical. They have great speed at the skill positions. And Coach Miles has just done a tremendous job there. It's a difficult job. It's not a difficult job necessarily to win. It's a difficult job to win as successfully as he's won. And I don't know that people really truly understand how difficult sometimes those jobs are, because you have to win at such a high level. And his teams have done that. They've done it consistently. And obviously have had two really good wins, one over a ranked Wisconsin team, and then one over a very good FCS team in Sam Houston State, who's, who could give a lot of 1A teams a lot of problems. So it's been two really good wins for them. But we are anxious to go in and play. It's a tremendous venue, great fan base, obviously great facilities overall. I think their athletic budget's 10 times greater than ours. They have 5-star guys. We have 2-star guys. And so you can look at all the stuff that's out there and say, 32-point underdogs, I think, is what someone told me today. So, all that doesn't sound good, but, our guys, we've been in environments like this before, and we'll show up and we'll play. And that's all I can ask these guys to do. Well, I think that you're always anxious as a player, as a coach, as a human being, to have that, as you mentioned, relish that opportunity to overcome. When everybody says that it can't happen, is to try to make it happen. And it's a tall task. We're playing, again, in a hostile environment. We have some younger players that need to step up for us this week, and are players that are new to our program. And so I think we'll get a great effort from LSU. I know that's going to happen, and so we're going to have to play really, really great football. And first of all, as in most games, you can't beat yourself. But I think the second part is, are you aggressive enough to try to go win games? And we know that there's some difficult matchups for us this week, and so we have to adjust accordingly. And our players have to handle those adjustments well in practice this week. But we have, this senior class, they've played Auburn, and they've played Arkansas and Florida State and TCU and Iowa and Oklahoma, and you can go right down to Baylor. And so it's not like that they haven't been in these venues before. I don't think we're going to be intimidated by the venue. Now, the players, then we still have to play. But in terms of me being worried about, can we handle Tiger Stadium and the lights and all that other kind of stuff, I don't think we'll have a bunch of out-of-body experiences along those lines. Well, I think this is certainly the biggest challenge we've had. There's no question about that. I think sometimes, I don't know, it just kind of we'll take the schedule however it kind of comes to us, and we'll play the schedule. As long as we have 12 games, then it's a good schedule. And so you've never heard me complain about who we have to play. These are just other opportunities. You mentioned Arkansas, Auburn, Baylor. Well, that kind of worked out to our advantage to some degree, in the sense that we beat Arkansas, and then you had to validate the Arkansas win by going to Auburn and playing well, and which we did, and came close to winning that game. And then obviously you got Baylor on national television on Friday night. So that year it worked out really, really well. Now, a few years back, we kind of had that same little run with Auburn, LSU, and Arkansas kind of all lumped in there together, pretty close together. And that was a tough run, because, every time that you kind of started kind of feeling a little bit better, it just, you got throttled. And so I think every year is different, Tabby, I really do. And so, we'll play them how they come, and that's just kind of the way we are. We do have a pretty experienced group that have seen an awful lot of things, and you're right, the speed level this week's going to be greater, but we have had a chance to watch our opponent. And I'm sure Johnny Chavis, the defense coordinator down there, has done a wonderful job at all the places that he's been, and he'll, I'm sure, have a surprise for us. But at least we have some tip-offs in relation to, okay, this is the tip-off for this blitz. This is this. With Idaho, we had none of that. We hadn't seen those things from them before, and so everything was a unique deal that we hadn't had a chance to study for, and so it will be more. They'll, I'm sure, bring some pressure this week, and then we need to be able to capitalize on the pressure as we did last week. I think we're 7th in the nation right now in explosion plays over 20 yards, and that a lot of that comes because of the fact that people, not Wake Forest necessarily, but that Idaho decided to pressure us, and we popped off some big plays, and that tends to be what happens whenever you pressure.
Offensively, I guess it's their ground game that concerns you the most, and the biggest challenge to try to slow down.
Well, they've got exceptional athletes on the edges too, in terms of their receiving core, and their quarterback, especially in the last game, showed the abilities to be able to be very accurate down the field. But there's no question that they want to run the football, and they've got a massive offensive line, got great tailbacks. I think that Cam Cameron, their offense coordinator, has done a really nice job in terms of blending, I think, Coach Miles' philosophy in relation to this is who we're going to be, this is our identity, and yet mixing in some things that can kind of challenge you a little bit schematically. There's enough spread things, and there's a little bit of tempo now, and there's some other things now to where it's not just quite as much status quo as maybe what it once was. And but they're going to be a power running team, and so obviously the running game is something that we're committed to having to stop every week. We've got a high level commitment to stopping the run every week, and so this won't be anything new for our players.
We know about the popularity of LSU in the state, of course, in Northeast Louisiana. Do you look at this as an opportunity of more eyeballs on you, kind of
sure
an opportunity to showcase this program?
No, I mean, I think you're always looking for opportunities within the state to play in state. I mean, there's been seasons where, basically this is our 3rd game in state, and then we'll obviously have a home game after that. Most times that take a whole season before we get 4 home games or 4 games in the state of Louisiana. But no, there's no question. This is appreciate them being willing to do this. I think that it's going to be interesting as we move down the road based off of Power 5 autonomy to some of the other things that are changing right now in college football. If these opportunities are going to remain open for all of us, but we'll obviously cross that road when it comes. But they have never shied away, as some other universities have, to playing us, and I appreciate that because this is a good opportunity for us